So we've been talking about the portrait of a fool, and we've been using this master art piece that we spared no expense of adding to the production value of season 7 as we talk about the portrait of a fool. We said in the last couple of times that a fool is one who despises wisdom, who vomits out words and can't help themselves, and who does damage, is what we're going to talk about today. A fool does damage and doesn't care. So I was starting a church in Utah years ago, and it was during the financial crisis that hit while we were starting. And so we lost a lot of funding, but we still had some families at the church, and we were relying more and more on those families. But the problem was one of the families that we were relying on, well, the man decided he was going to leave his wife and kids. And that was kind of the last nail in the coffin for our church. And so our church had to shut down because of his decision to leave his family and to break that family apart. The family moved back to another state. We had to shut down. We transferred our people to another church and our equipment to another church. And then we had to end up leaving the building that we were in. Well, that building was relying on our money. And so what happened then as a result is they didn't have enough money to pay the mortgage on the building, and their business ultimately had to shut down. It's amazing how much damage can be done from just one decision. And a lot of people think, hey, it doesn't matter what I decide. Who cares about other people? They can deal with whatever my decisions are. But the thing is, wisdom has a name for that kind of person, and that kind of person is called a fool. Proverbs 14:9 actually says, fools mock at making restitution, but there's goodwill among the upright. And the contrast there is that a foolish person, man, they just don't care. They don't care. They can emotionally hurt you, and they're not going to apologize because they don't care. They're going to mock at making things right. Financially, a fool could rip you off. And you know what? He doesn't care. Why? Because he does not care about the damage done to anybody else. And he's never going to make it right. He can ruin your reputation. He doesn't care. He only cares about himself. He can ruin a church, ruin a business, ruin a city, ruin individuals. And he still just won't care. Why? Because ultimately, if people don't like him, too bad. Who cares? And you wonder, man, can a fool ever really not do that? Not if he's going to remain a fool, but is there hope that he can get out of that? Is there hope that he could quit being a fool? There is. It just doesn't happen very often. But you take like Zacchaeus in Luke 19, right? Jesus says, Zacchaeus, I'm going to your house today. And Zacchaeus says, man, I'm going to give half my stuff to the poor. And if I've cheated anybody, I'm going to give them 4 times back the amount I cheated. And Jesus said, salvation's come to your house today, Zacchaeus. That fool was transformed by Jesus. But the problem is that if you're going to remain a fool, you're always going to go, I don't care that I do damage. Yeah, I may do damage, but you know what? I got to look out for me. And as long as that's the center, that's the way you're always going to be. You'll always be a fool if you're doing damage and don't care about the damage you do.